Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the REC podcast, brought to you by REC Comics and Collectibles. I am your host, Roman Chavez, and with me, as always,
Erik Icarus.
All right, my friend.
Yeah.
So in our post.
Don't say it.
Okay, I'm not even gonna say it.
It's the show that shall not be named.
Listeners of the show, all 6 of you. Hello to my beautiful wife. We're going to be talking about today shows that had a good ending.
Good series finale.
Ended
on a great note. Here's the thing with this is, I was kind of racking my brain about this.
Okay.
I've seen a lot of series finales that were favorable. Like, okay, that was okay.
Mm-hmm.
You know, your Shield.
Yeah.
You know, I hate to say it, but even your Breaking Bad. I mean, that was serviceable.
Mm-hmm.
It was fine, but it didn't blow my mind.
Okay.
You know, but you know, for me, there's like 3 or 4 that I'm like, wow, that was really good.
Okay. Well, I guess. Well, let's just start there. Give me one. Give me one that ended really well for you.
I really thought The Sopranos ending for me was amazing.
Really?
I get in debates with people all the time about this, but the reason for me it's so amazing is because it's a callback to like an earlier episode where Tony's talking to Bobby Bacula about
Count Chocula. I need to rewatch Sopranos.
I know they kill him off too quick. God. But they're in a boat and they're talking about dying. And Bobby says, you know, I bet you don't ever hear it coming. So to me, it shows that, yeah, he didn't expect it to happen. All of that was there. David Chase doesn't give you anything to not give it to you. Like, he puts things there intentionally. So Tony is seeing the world on guard the whole time, and then it cuts to black. So obviously someone killed him. So that, to me, was a perfect ending to that show.
Because that's such a point of debate. You know, people still debate this day whether or not Tony died.
Exactly. I completely think he did.
Okay.
I think even David Chase confirmed it backhandedly.
Okay, because he can't. Like,
exactly.
If you
he didn't come right out and say it, but he made, you could make the argument he wasn't. Yeah, but I think he backhandedly was like, yeah, he's gone. Maybe because Gandolfini isn't here anymore. So maybe that's why he's saying Tony's dead. Maybe that's what he was alluding to.
Maybe.
But that was definitely one for me.
I was curious whether or not he died. I want to lean that he did, just because it would make some sense.
Sure.
However, I am just like in No Country for Old Men. Like, I just like this idea that no matter what happens, these type of men have to exist.
Sure.
Tony serves, even though he's not the worst person, but he's not a good dude either.
Exactly. He's a necessary evil, I guess.
Yeah.
But here's the thing, evil will consume evil. Maybe it was his time to go.
Could have been.
And the new person steps in.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. All right. Well, I will counter with arguably one of my favorite show endings ever, and it's the ending to Angel. Joss Whedon's Angel.
I like that ending too.
I did. I really did.
And it's funny. You're kind of with mine. It's a lot of debate.
Yes,
a lot of people don't like it.
A lot of people dislike it, and it's one of those things you kind of have to step back and look and see what happened. Like, there are tons of people who don't pay attention to what's going on behind the scenes, like you and I do.
For sure.
They don't know
what's
going on with the writer. Yeah, they get the show. They get their 45 minutes a week, and they're fine.
And that's cool.
But that show got canceled. Basically, they said they weren't going to renew it with like 10 episodes left or 6 episodes left, something like that. So they were forced to wrap up. So there's 3 major storylines in there that could have been 3 separate big bads that could have had their own seasons. Dang. And they did wrap things up. It was heartfelt. I cried so many times in that season with certain characters leaving. But just that last image. And spoilers. In 3, 2, 1, Angel and his crew, they've been fighting against this evil corporation. The senior partners of Wolfram and Hart from this law firm. Basically, the whole show, they've double crossed Wolfram and Hart, and it is people. Some of our characters have died, and it's just kind of Angel and kind of like the last men standing. And they're like, there's an army of demons and an army of a dragon, And Angel's just kind of like, you take the army on the left, I'll take the army on the right. Or you take the army on the left, you take the army on the right. And Angel's like, I don't know about you, but I want to slay a dragon.
Yeah.
He lifts up his sword, swipes, created by Joss Whedon.
Yeah.
You know? And I was so bummed, but it was kind of that lead up to the end that really sold it for me, where you have all of Angel's, his friends living their last night on Earth the way that they wanted to.
That was like genius writing.
Dude, I get a little choked up thinking about it.
Me too, actually.
Yeah, where you have people...
Lauren was like...
Lauren. Yeah. Oh my God. You just have all these characters living their last night on Earth and what they would do, knowing that they're going to die tomorrow.
Spike reading that poem,
which is a callback to Buffy from so long ago. I mean, I'm getting goosebumps right now thinking about it. It was such, for me, while I wish I would have got more, I was very satisfied.
Oh, for sure.
Even though not knowing is a little unsatisfying. Mark Bernardin said something similar from the Batman Beyond or Fat Man Beyond podcast that the way that they ended it had given him emotional closure.
Sure.
Even if it didn't give him story closure, it gave him emotional closure, and I completely agree.
For sure, and for me too, like it did give me a story closure because it showed me that the evil's not going to stop.
Yeah.
This will never stop.
Yeah.
And they will keep fighting.
Yeah.
So that to me is like, okay, yeah, you ended the story, and they're going to keep going.
Just in the rain, in that alley.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Like, I would watch that episode tonight.
Oh, hell yeah.
I might even watch it tonight. Like, I loved it.
Oh, good choice, man.
Thank you.
Oh, my God.
What about you, sir? Give me another.
Okay. I've championed the show too many times, and this is probably the last time I'll bring it up for a while.
Okay.
True Detective season 1.
Season 1 was so good. What wasn't even on my radar? I wasn't even thinking about it.
Oh man.
Go ahead.
Obviously, if you don't know what this is, it's an anthology series. So it's only contained to one season. Every story is one season.
Mm-hmm.
So you get the build up, you get the story, then you get the resolve. So you're gonna get closure right at when they say, at the last episode. So, story wraps up. Our two protagonists, Marty Hart, played by Woody Harrelson, and then Rustin Cole, played by Matthew McConaughey, two police detectives trying to solve a crime for like 20 years. It spans 20 years.
Yeah.
Lead up, they catch their bad guy, they get him. They go through a bunch of stuff doing this. I don't want to give too much away because I want people to watch this.
Yeah, if you haven't
really
seen
want
it,
people to watch this.
We will be spoiling, but some of this stuff doesn't matter if we spoil it because it's a journey.
Yeah.
And to quote our man Tony Stark, part of the journey is the end.
There you go, man.
But that journey for these shows like Angel, like True Detective, is every bit as good as that.
For sure.
Part. But please continue.
Oh no. Yeah, and that's why I don't want to give too much away. But the last scene is with our two characters leaving a hospital, and McConaughey's Rustin Cole gives this really awesome speech about almost dying because his daughter dies earlier. You don't see it. That happens off screen. Yeah. His daughter passes away, and he talks about trying to slip away into the darkness. And then he says he hears his daughter's voice. Like, I'm kind of getting choked up thinking about this. And he's talking about how she wouldn't let him die.
Which is wonderful.
Because his character, the whole series, is a nihilist.
Yeah.
Thinks existence nothing matters. And it shows him like, I have hope now.
Yeah.
Because my daughter wants me to live.
Yeah.
And it would be a disservice to her to not live. So it's like, man. I was like that. I cannot talk enough about that. That season, that show. We got our second season of True Detective, and it's got good parts to it. It's not season 1, and season 3 is good.
I heard season 3 was really good. I haven't watched 2 or 3 because season 1 was so good. I just couldn't bring myself to do it.
Top it. Yeah. But season 3 it's solid. It's pretty good, man. I enjoyed it. But that's my second one.
I'm gonna give you one.
You gonna say Friends?
Yeah.
I was waiting for it.
Yeah, I absolutely loved the way that Friends ended. I thought that I was such a fan of the show, and I kind of got into it late. Like, I watched it sporadically through the 90s, but like probably in season 9, it was only 10 seasons only. I mean,
that's a long time.
It is a long time. I really got back into it in season 9, and then I just loved the way it ended. It was a short season, which is too bad, but some people really didn't like the Ross and Rachel back and forth. I fully enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Ross might have been my favorite character in the show. Chandler's the funniest.
Sure.
But Ross is the one I could relate with the most, I think. Just like aloof and kind of stupid, even though he was, really smart as a, he was a college professor.
Well, scholastically, he's
yeah.
When he's a Magoo when it comes to love. He's a Magoo.
The moment where he tells Rachel, she's going to be leaving to go to Paris to live there, and he realizes, hey, I love you and I want to be with you, and he goes to the airport to try to stop her. She gets on the plane, and he drives back. He gets back, and his answering machine is blinking, and she's like, I'm sorry I left it this way. She's like, because of course I love you, and then she's realizing it in the message, I love you. And she's the message is her trying to get off the plane. And then the phone cuts off. She's telling the stewardess, I need to get off the plane. Can I get off the plane? And then it cuts off. And he's like, did she get off the plane? Did she get off the plane? And then you just hear her, I got off the plane. Oh my God. And that gets me choked up for a different reason, It's not sad. It was just, we grew up with these characters.
Oh.
I mean, we literally saw the birth of people having cell phones in a show.
Yeah.
In this show,
Yeah.
And it was just there. We've all had those people when we were younger, especially that you were on again, off again, and things didn't work out. But what if they did? And this was a cool way to say sometimes they can.
Exactly.
And it's not like they got married in the last episode, which happens a lot. Which Phoebe got married in the episode before it, but it was just a really sweet way to end that. And it wasn't hey, not everything's gonna work out perfectly. But for these fun characters who have been through so much, it was very satisfying in the way that the show that shall not be named, it was not. It gave me things I wasn't expecting, and I expected them to stay together, but I did not expect it that way.
Right.
And I thought it was a really clever way to do that. It's a way you can't do now.
No.
There's no answering machines now.
No, right.
So there's nostalgia, and it was a cool way to do that for the audience.
Sure.
So that one, happy note. I was very excited. I
loved the last scene where they're giving the keys.
Oh my God,
the keys on the counter.
Yeah,
I was
it's so sweet.
And I love. I don't remember who said it in the show, but I don't think I've ever used this thing.
Yeah. Chandler saying, because of rent control, this place is a friggin' steal.
For sure.
Wow, I didn't know that you actually watched the last episode.
We watched it together.
Did we?
We did.
Oh, I do not remember that.
Yeah, you were living with your roommate who also was into Friends.
Oh, that's right, with Laura.
Yeah, Laura. Yeah. And I remember just going over because it was the last. I was like, well, I gotta watch this.
So you watched that, having not really watched much of the rest.
No, I mean I heard when we lived together previously, I would hear you watch.
Sure.
But no, I wasn't up to it. But I even not even watching the full season.
You felt the weight of that. Okay,
because I knew about the dynamic between Ross and Rachel, and getting closure on that, not even as a casual viewer.
Yeah,
was like, wow, that's really crazy. I'm glad that happened. I'm glad I watched it.
Yeah, because it's super funny because when you go back, they're only together for half a season.
For sure.
They're only together as a couple for half a season.
Right.
And, just all that cast just worked well together. I think it's hard to get ensembles to work like that without, replacing people or people leaving. Even in Angel and in Buffy, characters come and go.
Oh, for sure.
But, these were 6 main characters.
That stuck around the whole time.
Yeah.
And made it work, man. Yeah, now that you say, that was really good, actually.
Very solid. Yes, fan service. There's nothing wrong with it if you do it right.
Wanted from that show.
From that other show. I feel like we're Bruce Banner in Avengers 1, where he won't acknowledge the Hulk, where he's like, and the other guy, that's who we are. That show is the other guy.
That show is definitely the other guy, man. I think I think I have one more in me, and it's going to be a kind of an odd one, because I don't think anybody of our listeners probably watched the show. m.a.s.h.
m.a.s.h?
m.a.s.h. My dad was obsessed with this show, so naturally I would have to watch it sometimes.
Yeah.
And I ended up kind of sort of liking it.
I heard it got really serious, though.
And it did. Yeah. It went from, let me equate it to this. It would be like if you started watching Friends, and then Friends turned into, what's a really depressing show.
I don't know. I try not to watch depressing shows.
Yeah, that's very true. So that would be like if Friends turned into, I'm drawing a blank on trying to think of a sad show. It'd be like Friends turning into Sons of Anarchy.
Oh, yeah.
Or Spartacus. Not but just, it went from really goofy slapstick to we're in a war.
Yeah, at the end of the day, yeah. m.a.s.h is, that's right. I'm familiar with M.a.s.h.
Yeah.
I watched it a little bit with my grandmother and my grandfather. It was just on.
Right.
Because wasn't M.a.s.h. a movie, then a
Then
show?
it was a show. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
You're
All right.
absolutely right. But the last episode of the series was heartfelt, touching. It had funny moments. It actually starts with like a cut into like the future. It was like one of the first shows to do like
a jump forward.
Ah. And you see Alan Alda's character Hawkeye in a hospital, like a mental hospital, and he doesn't really know why he's there. He's like, I don't know why I'm here. All I did was tell a woman. He said we were about to be attacked by the Koreans, and her chicken kept making noise. So I told her to kill her chicken. Turns out it was a baby.
Oh.
He told the woman to keep her baby quiet, and she suffocated her baby.
Oh,
so he put it in his brain that it was a chicken.
Oh, Jesus
Yeah,
Christ.
that's how dark that got.
Dude, that's not the M.a.s.h. that I saw.
And
wow.
then Alan Alda, like, finally remembering it, how it happened. I don't know why this guy didn't get more movie roles, because you're like, wow. Like, you feel every ounce of pain he's throwing in there.
Jesus.
And they discharge him. Basically, like he gets better, but like, hey, maybe it's time for you to go. Yeah. And they start telling him, hey, man, you saved a lot of lives here, though. Yeah. That was one bad thing, but you got to remember all the good lives, the things you did. And he flies up in the helicopter, leaving, and his friend Dr. Pierce leaves a note saying goodbye in on the ground.
Uh-huh.
So I think it was more saying it to him, but it was like a meta thing for the audience. Like,
sure.
Goodbye. So I thought it wrapped it up really well. Sad ending. All of our characters got closure. Every single one of them got closure.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, so I thought it was a solid ending.
Okay.
Yeah. What about you?
Oh man, let's see. I've got a weird one, and again from our boy Joss, Firefly.
Oh.
And I don't.
Okay.
I consider Serenity the end of that show. The film Serenity.
Yeah.
Because the show didn't really have like a great like tie-up ending. It was okay, given that it was canceled. Mm-hmm. But for me, the Serenity film is the send-off for the fans. It was the ending that we deserved. It did kind of change some things continuity-wise, but I love Serenity. It's a movie I watch several times a year. I like Malcolm Reynolds as as a great captain. It was nice to get closure on the Reavers, where they came from. I don't know if you watched the show at all.
A little bit with you.
Yeah, because it was only one season, so it wasn't.
I remember seeing maybe 2-3 episodes. Honestly.
And I mean, to this day, that show was like 19 years old. To this day, there's still you go and there's brown coats. You're gonna go to San Diego Comic Con for the first time. Mm-hmm. You're gonna lose count of how many Firefly cosplays you see.
Really?
Yes. It's everywhere.
I didn't know it was that big of a phenomenon.
Dude, it's huge. It's huge. I went to a brown coat reunion. Brown coats were the kind of the people against the government in the during the war.
The rebels.
The rebels. The resistance against the alliance.
Okay.
And that's what Mal is. He was a brown coat.
Okay.
And I mean, just the idea of the space cowboy thing was just like it just worked really well. Like he is one of my favorite, most sarcastic characters.
Sure.
Alan Tudyk as the pilot, Hoburn Wash.
Oh.
Washbane or they call him Wash, and he was just so funny throughout the entire show. Which Baldwin? It's not a Baldwin brother, but anyway, he played Jane. Like just the whole again an ensemble that works. Like Joss is great with that. Making
he really
ensembles.
Is. That's why I think he was amazing. Why they picked him for Avengers?
Yes, that was when they announced that. That was why that was going to make sense because he can balance. He gives everybody their due, and then brings them together and showcases what they're all good at.
Right, and what's cool is like his dialogue is insanely amazing.
Yes.
Like, all of his characters. Like, you get maybe, they're not like a main character, but if they have 4 or 5 lines of dialogue, you're like, wow, I kind of know this character.
Yeah.
Like, he fleshed out Hawkeye in like one movie.
Yeah.
Like, and you didn't even really get his backstory.
No.
And I'm like,
why do I like Hawkeye so much?
Yeah.
And then, which is funny because I was kind of the human of that, basically, and like, hey, I can do this. And, we got some characters die. We got introduced to a believer, which was the first time I ever saw Chiwetel Ejiofor. I don't know if I'm butchering his name. 12 Years a Slave, played Mordo in Doctor Strange. and he played this very sadistic's not the right word, but he believed if he had to kill 1 million children so that the Alliance could go. Yeah, it was the right thing to do because the Alliance in control is better for everybody.
Wow.
He has a great line where he's talking to Mal, and he's trying to tell Mal how they're alike, and Mal's like, he's like, I don't kill children, and he's like, well, I do.
No.
He goes, Mal, I'm a monster. He's like, yeah, well, where do you fit into this utopia you want to build? He's like, oh, I'm not going to live there. He's like, I can't. I'm a monster, Mal. He's like, I have no disposition about that. I'm a monster. So it's just a lot of great dialogue, and it was a good way for us to send off characters. My only problem with Joss, but which is a smart thing from a writing standpoint, is that while he can give you a happy ending, you lose people along the way.
Yep.
People always die at the ends of his stories.
Yep.
And a lot of times, if you're a couple, you don't get to remain.
Exactly.
Because Wash's wife is Malcolm's buddy and on the ship, and Zoe, and she, her husband dies.
Oh.
Again, spoilers. Wash dies, and it was so sad and abrupt.
It is.
But for me, that was again another Joss thing. I'm a fan, so that was one that I really liked.
Joss is even Buffy for me had an amazing ending. Dude.
I like the ending, but Angel
was fun.
Really pushed it out of there.
And it did. Because Buffy's, I love, the only time I kind of liked Hope's character is her last line.
Yeah.
Where do we go from here?
And there's just that look
of despair and confusion, but also we're going to do this together.
And there's that look of hope too. Yeah. It doesn't matter what we do.
The Scooby Gang's going to get through this, So if I hadn't seen Angel, I would be like, Buffy's was
Buffy for sure.
Awesome.
And it was good. And unfortunately, and fortunately for the fans, they did carry on the shows in comic book form. They had their moments. They're not perfect. But it was just with Angel, I would have liked to have seen a 3 episode miniseries, film or something like that to wrap that up and get Buffy involved. Because for me, I felt like Buffy should have been there in the alley.
Oh yeah,
she should have been there.
It would make
just
sense
as Angel should have been there at Sunnydale, but he tries to show up.
Oh, she tells him to leave. Right?
Yeah, and then he gives her that necklace.
Oh, that's right.
And then Spike wears it. So, yeah. So
oh my God, I forgot all about that.
He did show up.
Yeah, that's right.
He did show up.
Yeah.
So, and then it was cool because then we got Spike in the final season of Angel.
Yep.
And he had 2. I mean, Spike had 2 series finales that were amazing.
Yep.
That were amazing.
On a real quick side note, I feel bad for James. What is his
James
name?
Marsden?
Yeah, because I thought he was going to be huge.
He's still super popular. He's been in a bunch of shows. He was in Smallville, which doesn't quite make the list for me, but I did enjoy Smallville.
It was interesting. It was an interesting way to do it.
But he was in there. He was in, he's in the Runaways on Hulu.
I haven't seen that yet.
Yeah, I haven't seen it either, but I heard it's just okay.
Okay, fair enough.
But he's had a career, but nothing as iconic as
Spike.
as William the Bloody.
Yeah. Right, yeah.
So
I have one more before we talk about our shared one.
Okay, go for it.
Quantum Leap.
Dude,
I love the way that show ended.
I don't remember how it ended.
He basically leaps into back in time to when.
Oh, hold on. Explain what Quantum Leap is.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. I forget that.
We're older.
Yeah, we're a little bit older. Quantum Leap is a sci-fi show starring Scott Bakula, like you know who that is. And
they might Enterprise.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that. And he plays Dr. Sam Beckett, and he's a quantum physicist, and he finds a way to go back through time. He travels through time to put the wrong things right.
Yeah.
If you don't know the show, just watch the intro. It lays it right out to you. But that's basically what it is. He goes in the past and tries to do the right thing.
But when he goes in the past, he's not himself.
No,
he leaps into people who are alive, their bodies.
Yeah. So that person goes into his body, which is in the future. So basically, it's his consciousness going into their body.
Yeah. And it's cool. They would do subtle things where we only ever see Scott Bakula, and sometimes he leaps into women.
Yeah,
so that stuff's funny,
wacky,
and then,
zany.
But when he sees himself in a mirror, it's the person.
The person.
If he was a woman, it was the woman.
Yeah.
So
only the audience would see him as
that person.
As that person.
Yeah.
Okay. So, but anyway, it ends with him leaping into this bar, and it turns out that there's other people doing this too. Like there's other leapers. And the bartender tells him, hey, you've done your fill. He's like, what? Here's the thing. Here's the catch. You can either, you can go back and do this one last thing and you'll keep leaping, or you can go home. So basically, they don't really explain who this guy is.
Yeah.
They might have alluding that it's a higher power. Let's just put it that way. The bartender's a higher power, basically. So turns out he leaps back in time because he has a sidekick named Al. It's Al is his he appears as a hologram to Sam. Only Sam can see him. Babies or kids and animals can see him as well. But anyway, Al's wife ends up dying because he gets taken as a POW. Al does back in the day. Anyway, Sam leaps back in time and tells Al's wife to wait because he's alive. He tells him he's alive. He'll be home soon.
Yeah.
So basically, he sacrifices going home to his family and wife to give Al a better life, basically. Yeah. So, and then it gives like a prologue where it says Al and so-and-so are celebrating their 25th wedding anniversary. Sam never returned home.
Oh,
that's
man.
That is it.
Dude, I don't remember that at all, but I remember the episode where we find out that Al was a POW, and that didn't Sam have to, he had to have him get captured? He couldn't save him.
He actually sees him.
Yeah.
Because he leaps into somebody else, and he just happens to be leaping into someone who was where Al got captured. Because he looks over and he's like, and then he sees Al, and Al's like giving him that, hey, no, don't.
Yeah, you're not here for that.
Yeah, exactly. Basically,
yeah.
He's like, if you do this, you're going to mess more things up. So then, that show was really good, man.
And how has it not been remade? How has it not been remade? Right? It would thrive right now.
I didn't even think about that.
It's ripe for Netflix.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
yeah, dude.
Netflix, people,
get
if you're
on
listening,
this, man.
Let's do Quantum Leap 2, all right?
Yeah.
Reboot.
Quantum Leap 2.
Leaps. Quantum
Leaps. There we go. That was the other one, man. I'm
trying to think. I had one more. And then the last one is it's a little wacky. And a friend of the show, Jordan, was talking to me about this, and I agree with him. It was on Fox. Maybe you heard of it. Dinosaurs.
Jim Henson's Dinosaurs.
Yes. People in animatronic
costumes. It was kind of aping The Simpsons.
Yeah, it was The Simpsons and Roseanne as dinosaurs. It was meant to be just this ridiculous.
It was blue-collar dinosaurs.
Blue-collar dinosaurs. It was absolutely ridiculous as a show. It was completely ridiculous. But the show ends. The show ends with a meteor or a comet coming towards Earth, and these quasi civilized dinosaur people were facing their extinction.
And they just kind of sit on the couch and just accept it.
Yeah, dude, it was so weird, and it left me messed up as a kid.
Me too. Because I remember watching it and be really?
What just happened?
Yeah,
it was
because it just cuts to black.
Yeah. It was more depressing than The Sopranos.
Big time. Yeah, because there's no maybe they survived because we know the dinosaurs ain't making it.
Yeah, you wanted them to. That none of we've literally been watching this ridiculous show of talking dinosaurs, and we're like, oh man, I hope they're okay.
I mean, but that's the thing. Is that's why our generation's a little tougher, man. Because we had some really depressing show endings. We can handle it.
Yeah. You can handle dinosaurs. You can handle anything.
That's right. I mean, even the series finale to Alf was depressing.
Yeah, he leaves, right?
No.
I thought he left on
he's
bad
about
terms.
to leave, and then the government shows up.
Oh.
And then that's how it ends.
Jeez.
So,
yeah.
Alf's getting dissected right now.
He deserves it.
He does.
That cat killer.
Man. That
was the only thing I supported from Alf. All right. Not a cat person. Eric is.
I am.
All right, man. Go ahead and introduce our last.
Okay, yeah, we both thought of this one. We're like, oh yeah, this is a total agreement. Futurama, all of their endings. I'm trying to find the right words to explain how.
I'm more.
Let's go. You want to start? Let's start with the first series finale.
Go ahead. You do that because you're not as familiar with the second series finale.
So. Yeah. So the first one on Fox, right? Mm-hmm. It ends with It's called The Devil's Hands Are Idle.
Idle playthings.
Okay, idle play. Yeah.
Yeah.
And Fry basically wants to impress Leela by playing this instrument called the holophoner. Yeah. And it basically transcends your emotions through this instrument and gives you a picture. So he wants to do this for Leela to impress her. So the devil's like, okay, well, I'll give you my hands. I can do this. You give me yours.
Yeah.
And essentially Fry becomes this amazing holophoner. Does Leela end up falling for him right there?
Yeah, like when he plays it for the first time. And it's funny because like even Leela says, only a handful of people know how to play this instrument in the world, and they're not that good.
And then basically it ends with him doing a this kind
of
recital opera sort of thing. And then long story short, the devil ends up taking his hands back. He loses his talent essentially, but everyone leaves the auditorium, but Leela's still there.
Yeah.
And she says, I want to hear you play. And he does.
Yeah, like the images that this holophoner creates, they're beautiful when he has the devil's hands.
Yeah.
And they're, 3D, and they have all this like structure to them. And then when he does it, like they're very stick figure-y, very young children drew these pictures.
Very crude and
Yeah, and then he does it for her, and then kind of a picture of her shows
just
up.
her, yeah.
And it looks like, like a child drew it, but it was like very sweet.
Yeah.
And those characters, even though there's not like a lot of like thread of story through the show, like Fry being in love with Leela is that thread.
It's been the
so
consistent.
It gave you hope. It gave you hope. But the best part, and maybe not the best part, but the best setup, and what still makes me laugh, is the show would always open with like a cold open like line.
Yeah.
And it would always be, it's just something kind of funny. And when this episode aired, it was like, avenge us. Because they knew they were canceled, And it made me laugh so hard. Well, years later, was it Comedy Central that got the rights to it?
Yes,
Comedy Central's got the rights to it, and they did another, 3 or 4 seasons of the show, and then it gets canceled again.
It gets canceled again.
And it's too bad, but they really started to flesh out Fry and Leela's relationship. And then in the last episode of the second rebirth of this, actually it might have been their third attempt. I feel like they got canceled a lot.
For sure. I think it was 3, because the second time they're flying towards that green
with
dimension, and then it just kind of ends.
Yeah, with the sting. No, it was the episode with the sting.
Was that what it was?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
But I'm sorry. Let me get back to this one. I apologize.
This one is.
And so Leela is going to, or Fry is going to propose to Leela, and he wants a way to relive the moment. So the professor makes him this thing that'll like turn back time for him, but only at like 10 seconds intervals or 30 seconds, something like that. And so Fry wants to propose, and then he wants to relive that moment a bit. But then he breaks that thing, that machine that does it, and he's like drops it, and they're like eating on the top of this building, and he goes to grab it, and he falls off, so he's falling to his death, and so he hits the button, but it takes him back to the beginning of his fall.
Oh,
like it's not enough time to get him back onto the building, so he's stuck in this time loop. And the professor figures it out, and he builds like a time shelters to like keep everybody safe, like the main people safe. And like we got to go find Fry. He's messing up something, and then they're able to. They get close to him, and the professor one of them tries to save him, but then they break it, and it stops everybody but Fry and Leela. So the entire universe is frozen in time. And Fry and Leela get to live out their life, and they grow old together. They get married. It doesn't show them. I don't think it shows them having children or anything.
No.
But they like have a life, and then they're trying to. They don't know. They keep seeing this like flash of light every now and again, and it turns out it was a professor stuck in time.
Right.
He gets his way through, and he's like, "Hey, I can take us back to the moment that this happened."
Right.
And Fry and Leela are old. And she says, "What do you think? You want to do it again?" And she says, "Yeah." So they go to that point.
Yep.
So they like go to attempt to live their lives again,
do it all over again.
And it was beautiful, man. Again,
punches in the gut. Man.
Yeah, and it was just so good. And that episode also started with "Avenge Us."
Did it really?
Every time they got canceled, they would start with "Avenge Us." So,
I mean, this is a show that had. Like, for me, it's my favorite animated show. I'd say
it's my favorite animated show.
Yeah, I'd say
better than The Simpsons, Family Guy, American Dad, South Park. Yeah, we said it. It's better than South Park.
Yeah, it is. I mean,
it's so good. It just it hit on so many levels.
It did. It made you like. I think I quote this show more than any other show.
It's up there for me for sure.
But it gave you so many like tender moments and sad moments. Like, who can forget Seymour, the dog?
Yeah. Oh God. Oh, I tried to forget.
Jurassic Park is like,
it's such a good episode and so
I mean, they've had so many sad episodes, but
they delivered more emotion in 21 minutes than almost any other show.
That's absolutely
live action or otherwise. 21 because stuff like people love the Gilmore Girls. Like that's an hour-long show.
Yeah.
But in 22 minutes of an animated show, no live action show has choked me up more than Futurama.
No, you're right.
Nor has made me laugh as hard as Futurama.
Exactly. Yeah, for sure.
It's got a bunch of nerdy humor, and it's just quality television.
It's funny. Yeah.
If you're bored, you're caught up on things, and you've never watched Futurama,
do it.
Start it from the beginning.
Yeah, and you'll keep watching it.
Highly recommend it.
Oh, for sure. But I mean that was a total agreement for us. Like that was the best series finale.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, man. I have no words for it because if you just need to watch it, everybody.
Yeah.
Just watch it. You go on. I know it might spoil it, but if you just go on YouTube and punch that and just type in Futurama third series finale and just get that last moment, you'll be like, okay, I need to watch this show.
Yeah.
Because if that's how it ends, I need to see how it gets to this point because it's bittersweet, it's melancholy, but it's like hopeful too.
Yeah.
Like, wow, they do get together.
Yeah,
they do make it.
Yeah, the guy does get the girl.
Yeah.
Even though he's not the smartest or the best looking, but he's just like a good
He's
dude.
a good person.
Yeah, just like it definitely mattered like what was inside.
There you go. So that was oof, got me on all my emotions.
I know, man. It's floodgates, between m.a.s.h and this. Jesus Christ. Ladies and gentlemen, that has been our show today. There are other shows that we absolutely love, and we can talk for another hour just on these topics.
If there's some we missed, hit us up. Tell us like, oh no, you forgot this, and what about this one? I want to, let us know.
Tell us your favorite series finale. Check us out on Instagram at REC Comics. We got some stuff for sale. Yeah. We've got some posts going on. My friend, what did you learn today?
I think I learned that I'm going to need to rewatch Futurama for the 5th time.
Oh, geez.
All the way through.
Oh, man. I'm in the double digits, man. I love that. I love that show. I learned that m.a.s.h got super dark. I heard it got dark. And I want to talk to my grandma and see if, did you like the last season of m.a.s.h? That has been our show. If you like what we're doing, please hit that subscribe button. Give us some likes. Leave a review. Again, DM us if you want us to talk about something. If you think that there was something we completely omitted from this list that we should talk about, we will shout you out.
Yes.
For the REC podcast, I have been Roman Chavez.
Erik Icarus.
Thank you for listening.